Well, the Ricky Hatton and Floyd Mayweather Roadshow has moved to Manchester this lunchtime. It was unbelievable. If you saw it, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. We were treated to some amazing scenes at the pre-fight meeting between Hatton and Mayweather. The big fight, of course, on December the 8th over in Vegas. But what a pantomime we saw. What a performance from Floyd Mayweather. I'm delighted to say this lunchtime on Sky Sports News, we are joined now live by Ricky Hatton himself. Ricky, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
First things first, what did you make, Ricky, of that reception from the rain-soaked Manchester fans?
Absolutely sensational. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, I've got the best fans the world has ever seen. It was absolutely pouring down in rain. No surprises there for Manchester, but absolutely pouring down in rain, and there was about 3,000 there, stood in the rain, absolutely soaking wet through, and they come out to support me, and you know, very, very proud of him, very, very proud of him, and I'll do him proud in this fight.
As we expected, Ricky, Mayweather put on a bit of a show earlier on, and he is such a showman. And I think it got to you a little bit, Ricky, because if I may say, we saw another side of you this morning. You lost it a little bit, if I may say so. We got some colourful language from you live on Sky Sports News.
Yeah, I know, yeah, and I do apologise for the, you know, expletives I was using, but to be perfectly honest, it didn't really get to me, because if you watched it and, you know, listened to it, I was more taking the mickey rather than getting wound up, really. So I've had a full week of him, to be honest, you know, getting in my face, trying to get under my skin and talk me, and trying to, you know, see a little glimpse of fear in my eyes, but it's... I think he's going to go back to America very disappointed, because I think he's tried playing a bit of mind games, and it's not succeeded. He's not got under my skin. Every time he insulted me, I just sort of like joined in and took the mickey out of him, and yeah, I made him look a bit of a fool at times, really. But he is a piece of work.
We know that this is what he's about, Ricky. I mean, behind the scenes, have you spent any time with him when he's not been the show-off, the front man, the man that wants all the attention? Have you actually got to know this fella?
Well, we have spent a bit of time behind the scenes, not just on one-on-one, but I mean, you know, when I've been sat there in the restaurant having lunch and stuff like that, and there's been no cameras or no photographers, and you'll be surprised to know he's exactly the same, really. And to be perfectly honest with you, you know, there's one thing selling tickets and obviously trying to put bums on seats and, you know, and publicise the fight, but I mean, where do you draw the line with a bit of respect? I think Muhammad Ali was the greatest one for all that. He was the man who started it, really, and there's a lot of fighters that have done a lot of talking and bad-mouthing, but they still have that little bit of respect for you, and the week I spent with him, whether the cameras have been there, whether they haven't been there, he's shown me no respect. But, you know, he's a wonderful fighter. He deserves to be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, but he'll certainly have my respect on December the 8th.
He is such a showman, Ricky, isn't he? I mean, a lot of people probably, having seen that this morning, probably can't help but like him a little bit.
To like him a little bit? Well, I don't know what people would like him a little bit. I mean, he is a piece of work. He is very entertaining, but I mean, the best way I can describe it, I think it was like spending the week with a child, really. I think it just... you know, it is entertaining and selling tickets, but I think he's just made a complete fool of himself all week. He's gone on, you know, he comes across Mr. Confident, but he's got about 5 or 6 bouncers around him, and he's always showing his money, and, you know, he wouldn't come out at first in front of the Manchester crowd, you know, the 3,000 people who were outside cheering on. He wouldn't go out at first until I called him out and said he was scared to come out. That was the only reason he come out. So maybe he's not as confident as he thinks he is.
So, Ricky, with all the provocation and intimidation that you've suffered at his hands this week, as we get nearer the fight, Ricky, will you attempt to get under his skin?
No, not at all, because that's not my game. I mean, my game is just to let me fist do the talking. I've probably said more this week than probably I've done in my whole career. But, you know, every time I think he tried to insult me. And people who know me know nobody laughs at themselves more than me, and I just joined in with him and just give him little sarky one-line remarks, and I think I think it got to him in the end. I think he come over there to unrattle me and look in my eyes and see a little bit of fear, but instead he hasn't. He's just seen someone laughing at him all week and taking the mickey out of him a little bit, really. So I think he'll go home a bit disappointed, knowing that, well, Ricky's a fearless fighter. He don't take a backward step, and after spending the week with him, now he knows I'm not scared of him, and he'd be right.
When you were over in the States, Ricky, did you get the sense that even people there wouldn't mind Ricky Hatton shutting this fellow up.
I do really. I mean, we was in Los Angeles, then we went to Michigan the next day, which was Floyd's hometown. Then we went to New York, and then obviously London and Manchester. And I was doing some training in a gym in Michigan, and you know, on my life there must have been about 6-7 people come up and say, you know, you're going to have to give that guy a whooping. He's so cocky, and that's in his hometown really. And I think, to be perfectly honest, you know, there's nothing wrong with selling tickets and that, but you've got to have a little bit of class and a little bit of respect in doing it. I'm not telling him he should change in any way. That's what makes him what he is, but he just shows no respect to anyone, and I think he's a very insecure man, and I don't think he's as confident as he makes out. He certainly won't go home as confident, that's for sure.
So Ricky, when do you start training for real, and will you have to be in even better shape than you were for Costa Azul? This time you have to be at the absolute top of your game in terms of fitness.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, fitness has always been my best attribute. That's what won me the fight. Not just that, but that's what helped win me the fight against Costa Azul. I didn't leave him alone. Floyd Mayweather is a wonderfully talented fighter. He's got loads of skill. He's got unbelievable hand speed, but that's only good if you've got the space to use it. And I think styles make fights, and I think I've got the style to beat him because I'm on top of it all the time. You know, my work rate is very, very high. My fitness is very, very strong. And I think I've got the tools to beat him. But I started back training camp a couple of weeks ago because I knew I wasn't going to do much training while we was in the States. So yeah, Monday I'm back to the usual grind. There's still 11 weeks gone. I've already done 2 weeks training camp, so I'll be in the best shape of my life December the 8th, and I'm going to need to, because regardless of what you think of him as a person, you know, he's a 5-weight world champion, and the only people to have done that is maybe Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns and people like that. So needless to say, I'm an underdog, but I've been the underdog in many of my fights all my career, and I've come back to win Costa Azul, Castillo, and I'm going to do the same December.
Ricky, just a final point. We do thank you for joining us this lunchtime on Sky Sports News. What will it mean to you, Ricky, to beat this fella?
It would mean everything, really. I mean, I always knew from a very young age that I had the ability to do well at boxing, but never did I think I'd be a world champion, let alone win about 4 world titles in 2 weight divisions. But I think the thought of becoming the best pound-for-pound fighter on the face of the earth is, I think it doesn't need me to say, really. I mean, we've had a lot of world champions and we've had a lot of undisputed champions, but off the top of my head, I can't think of too many where we've had the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing, you know. So needless to say, it means the absolute world, and it means everything to me. And I just can't wait to go out there and put all the years of hard work, you know, this will be my final, well, not my final, I hope to have more fights in the future, but this will be the fight I'll always be remembered by. And I hope I go out there and do my family, my fans, my supporters and my country proud by bringing that best pound-for-pound fighter in the world back to Britain.
Well, Ricky, we look forward to it immensely, and of course it's on Sky Box Office. You're a credit to your sport. Thanks so much for joining us, Ricky, this lunchtime on Sky Sports News.